Hey everybody, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty, giving you my weekly comic books review for October 18th, 2023. All right, all you wonderful people, thank you for joining me today. Boy, did I read a lot this week. So those of you that are new, they're popping in here, hello, welcome. And all of them you here that have been sticking with the channel, thank you for continuing with your support. Anyway, what I do is I go over a bunch of comic books. I don't have time to read them all, or the money to read them all. There's a ton of them. And I give you my views. I give it on a scale of 0 through 10, 7 being a middle range. I know you were thinking, what? Well, think 70 is like 70%. I'm using schoolyard grades, so that's how that works. So some people go, well, isn't a 5 in the mid range? I go 7. I expect things 7. So 7 is average and above is better than that. But you don't only get just my opinion. I also use the League of Comics Geeks and share their insight from the people who have read it and viewed it as well and compare it to my own. So you get multiple views here as well as a little bit of brief information about each comic book. So I have a lot to talk about, and including one particular rant as well. So make sure you stick through to the end of the last comic book that I'm going to discuss, and I'm going to rant a little bit hard on, and some people might think I'm being mean, but I think it warrants it in this. So I will soapbox a little bit, so if you stick to the end, you get to hear my bit of a soapbox warning. You're also going to hear that. That's my notes, because yeah, I took a lot of notes. All right, so the first comic book I want to jump into to talk about is Avengers Incorporated #2. This series has been, so far, more fun than I expected. It really is. League of Comics Geeks found 63 out of 63 liked it with a 4.2 average rating, and I gave it a 7.2, which, and to me, that's pretty good. I think it has a decent art, but that's where it fails a little bit. The art could definitely be better. It has an interesting story, and here's the thing. It's leaving me wanting to see more, seeing what's next, and I think that's a sign of a good comic book. The writer is Al Ewing. The artist is Leonard Kirk. And here we go. It's The Mystery at the Mansion. Her name is Janet Van Dyne. Yes, I think we need more comic books with Janet. She's a great character. She's known Victor Shade for years as the Vision's cover identity. His name, is Victor Shade. Whoever he is, he's not the Vision though. And together, they're hunting the ghost of Avengers Mansion. A ghost who might just be the Vision? Did we mention our guest star? That's a little synopsis there. I think this has been an interesting story. I'm digging it. I think if you like something that's a little different than the norm, but yet using the classic Avengers characters, you might want to check this out. I'm finding it interesting, and I'm looking towards what's next in this. They're doing something with a character that I'm hoping they don't ruin in the long run, because they've already ruined the character, to be fair, so I don't know how much more you can ruin the character, but I'm hoping to see they can do some interesting things with this character. Speaking of different things with the character, the next book I'm going to shift to is Daredevil #2. I gave it a 7.2, whereas League of Comics Geeks found that 123 out of 126 liked it with a 4.2 average rating. I tend to grade a little harder than people that use this website. And this book is written by Salman Ahmed, sorry I butchered the names, artist Aaron Cooter. And it says the new era of Daredevil continues. And that's true. We get a different shift, a different kind of tone in this book a little bit. And so we're going to get that. We're getting a different version and occupation of Daredevil. He's not a lawyer right now, right? Yeah, it's different. You know, he's seeking righteous retribution, one billy club at a time in this issue. It's putting him in a different position, and I think it's something worth checking out. It's interesting so far, but if you don't want him to change, then you might not like it. But I found it's an interesting issue. Good art, good pacing, and once again, another issue that I'm really a series I'm interested in reading the next issue. So I think that says a lot. That's a positive there for Daredevil. We'll see how it continues to go on that. Now the next one, I've read this. This is the last one of this miniseries. It's part 5 of 5, and that's Deadpool Batter Blood issue #5. League of Comics Geeks didn't have a lot of people reading this book. I think it dropped off a lot, and it said 9 out of 15 liked it with just a 3.5 average rating. And I agree with them pretty much 100% here. I gave it a 7. And we have the writer and the artist is Rob Liefeld, as well as Chad Bowers is writing too. And we have a team up. We have Deadpool, we have Spider-Man, we have Wolverine, we have Cable, all working together to stop Dr. Van Struten. And he gets his presence put into Thumper, and you get a fight and it all ends here. And here's the thing, it's if you look at the art here, there is no background art. I mean, it really lacks background art, which is common for this artist, and I think it takes away from the issue. The story is just anticlimactic. It looks like it's leaving for more, and I get that. But when you have a series, it needs to have a good ending. I think it failed to stick the ending. I just expected more, so I gave it a 7. I thought it was very mid, so I'm right there with League of Comics Geeks, I believe, on that one. A very mid-level story. If you have not been getting this, it's not something I'd run out and get. If you can find it cheap on the trade, maybe then. Or if you're a very big Deadpool fan, otherwise you might want to skip it. Now, this next one is a series I have been enjoying every issue pretty much of, and that's Ghost Rider issue number 19. 38 out of 42 liked it on League of Comics Geeks with a 3.9 average rating, which I think is pretty solid. I gave it a 7.3. And we have the writer Benjamin Piercy, artist Brent Peoples, and it says, "Move over, Ghost Rider. Talia Warroad is one of the most gifted magicians in America." Of course, they've got to do that. You know how Marvel is. But what happens when the cult of Mephisto wants a piece of that gift? Well, they want a piece of her. Oh my goodness. And what will they do when they find out the Ghost Rider is her partner? Uh-oh. Well, they don't care. They're still going to take their piece, right? I thought it was good art. It's a good story, and this series continues to be solid every issue. I especially the cover art's been fantastic in this series, but the story's been very good and interesting. I like this take on the character. It's just working for me. And I'm thinking, speaking of things that work, we're going to shift it to things that are not working with me. And this is DC's Dawn of DC Titans. I don't know what it is. The Dawn of DC thing just isn't working really well for me. Dawn of DC Titans issue number 4. 95 out of 112 liked it on League of Comics Geeks with a 3.7 average rating, which is much higher than I gave it. Writers Tom Taylor and artist is Nicholas Scott. We're definitely getting some Tom Taylor here. Tom Taylor seems to... is it just me, or does it seem like in a lot of his books he hates white people? White people are always the problem. They always cause wars. They do everything wrong. It can't ever be anybody else than a white person. He must hate himself or something. I just don't get it. I mean, we can have villains. There's nothing wrong with villainous white people. There's just, there's more than just white people, though. And let's be honest, DC, you need to get better writers. I mean, come on. One of the dumbest things in this issue is they talk about having a trophy room in your fortress is a big mistake because something usually always goes wrong with that, right? Okay, well, right during that same discussion, where did they tell Wally to go? Because he told himself he was going to pass away. He was going to get killed within like 24 hours. So they need to put him somewhere where he's going to save. So they put him in a trophy room. Hello? How stupid is that writing? Yes, we got to be careful. We don't want to have a trophy room in our base because it always leads to problems and deadly things from it. But if we're going to keep somebody safe, we're going to put them in a trophy room. That was some really dumb writing. I gave this book a 6 out of 10. Oh, boy. I don't know if I can continue reading this Tom Taylor Titans, to be honest. I think he's really mucking it up on this one. But let me know what your thoughts are on that one. I'm really interested to see what you think of the Titans and their direction, because boy, is it not working for me at this point. I was hoping for better. I really was. And speaking of better, we're going to go with something a little better here. Actually, quite a bit better. And that's World's Finest, number 20. Yes, some Batman, Superman action, where it's 230 out of 233 liked it on League of Comics Geeks with a 4.4 average rating. I gave it an 8.5. Yeah, I really like this. I know some people I read online and things on the social medias aren't caring for this issue, but I think Mark Waid's writing is really good on it, and Dan Mora's art is working. It's getting the job done. And we have the return of Boy Thunder. Not a character I really care about, but it's interesting. Now, to find and save Superman's former protege, the world's finest duo brings the dimensional gulf between their world and an Earth with a jaded Superman, a broken Batman, and a war-hungry Wonder Woman, the world of Kingdom Come. Yeah, it's an interesting setup, I think, for this. It's good. It's good art. Yeah, it's good issue, good art, good story. The pacing has been solid in this series. This is one that DC fans, I think, should be getting. Definitely skip the Dawn of DC stuff and look for things like this. And speaking of other ones that are decent and good from DC, yeah, they do have some good, as long, once again, try to stay, like, one thing, just for the record, the Dawn of DC stuff seems like they're trying to be like more young adult kind of stuff. I just don't think it's working. What kind of audience are they pulling in? Are they pulling in real comic book art, audiences? We're getting the same thing from Marvel, and I'll talk about that in a little bit more. Now, this is a Dawn of DC issue, but I think they're doing a little bit better job with this issue, and that is Green Lantern War Journal #2, where the writer is Philip Kennedy Johnson and the artist is Montos. And here's the thing, I gave it an 8. I didn't give it, League Comics Geek said 94 out of 97, liked it with a 4.1 average rating, so we're both giving it pretty high praise. It says, discover the shocking identity of the Revenant Queen as Jon Stewart travels to Metropolis to meet with Steelworks, the Radiant Death, have claimed their first victim on Earth Zero, and are ravenously hunting Jon. Stripped of his ring and unaware of the danger he's in, Jon is caught completely unprepared to face this otherworldly horror, can't speak, and to unravel the shocking identity of the Revenant Queen. Now, this is one thing where DC, I think, is, I like Jon Stewart, don't get me wrong, but it seems like they always got to try to one-up their best Green Lantern, which is Hal Jordan, because Hal Jordan can generate a ring on his own, so what do? We make Jon Stewart not even need a ring. Okay, I can deal with that. To be fair, it's still okay. And I think it's good art, an interesting story, great characterization of Jon Stewart, though. And I do think this is a good story for Green Lantern fans. So if you're a Green Lantern fan, I wouldn't mind saying, hey, give this one a check. I think you might really like it. Oh, boy. The next one I want to talk about is another Dawn of DC, but this was another one from that overall is doing pretty good, and that is Superman #7. League of Comics Geeks had 210 out of 213 like it with a 4.3 average rating, and I gave it a 7.5, which is pretty darn solid. Writer Joshua Williamson and artist Gleb Melikov, sorry, butcher names, can't help it. This is an oversized anniversary issue, just so you know. So you're gonna have to pay a little more. Yeah, ouch. $5.99, I think it was. Anyway, here we go. It's continuing on the story. The mystery, we have this dude that was unleashed. He's massively tough. He was locked up by Luthor, and Superman gets chained up by the very thing that was containing that guy, but Superman has to break it, and this thing is after Luthor and anything that supports Luthor. Why? We don't really know, and they're keeping us in the dark on that at the moment, and it's okay. It's pretty good. It's another good issue, to be honest. Great issue of The Boy in Blue. Good art, good story. Also, I think this is a good intro issue to a new story that's going to be developing. So, bravo. Good job to you there. Not bad. So not all of Dawn of DC is bad, but the worst book, one of the worst ones, is there. Now I want to jump to the Incredible Hulk #5. 99 out of 103 liked it on League of Comics Geeks with a 4.1 average rating, which is, I think, better than it deserves, but maybe I'm just the oddball there. Writers Philip Kennedy Johnson, artist is Travel Foreman. Okay, it is what it is. And we have the Swamp Siren revealed. Hulk tracks down the beauty that has been luring men and monsters alike to their dooms. An epic brawl breaks out between the Jade Giant, Man-Thing, and the true face of the Swamp Siren. But even the Jade Giant is not immune to her song. Plus, a backup story is here featuring a surprise guest character to honor Latin and Latinx characters and creators. In other words, we shoved a story in there just to do it, to try to say we're appeasing a certain group. And it's with Power Man, a character, let's be honest, nobody really gives a crap about this Power Man. No, it's not Luke Cage. That is cool. This is just another character in that name. He's not a terrible character. It's just there's nothing special about him, why you've made him. Well, anyway, I didn't care for this issue as much. I gave it a 6.9. I'm not a fan of the art in this issue at all. In the main story, I don't think is anything that special. I think it's decent at best. And the side story, as I just said, was shoehorned in there. It wasn't bad. It was okay. That was it. I actually gave this book a 6.9. I was expecting better. Maybe I was expecting too much, and that's why I was so hard on it. Let me know if you read this book. Am I way off base? Was it delivering what you thought it needed to deliver? Maybe it's just me. Next book, The Invincible Iron Man #11. 76 out of 77 liked it on League of Comics Geeks with a 4.2 average rating, and I gave it a 7.9. I liked it too. We had the writer Jeffrey Duggan and the artist Andrea Di Vito meet the new Hellfire Club. Iron Man and Emma Frost begin their whirlwind honeymoon and their takeover of the Hellfire Club. Yeah, I bet Tony wishes the honeymoon was a little bit more fancy in some ways, but hey, what we had to say about that? It's a good issue. As I said, I gave it a 7.9. The art was good. Good pacing in this issue as well. The story, I think, is interesting, and it shows Tony and how he really truly cares about others. Granted, we know that he sacrifices himself, he's a hero, but he does something special for the White Queen here that she doesn't know about yet. And I think it was very touching. Even though, you know, their marriage is a sham and everything, he's showing some actual care for this character, even though she treats him like crap. It's a solid issue for Iron Man fans. I think that you should be checking out this series of Iron Man. I think it's some of the best Iron Man we've had in quite a while. As long as we stay away from him being adopted crap and all that garbage, let's put the focus where it needs to be. If anything, retcon that back to where it was. And going to another issue that I enjoyed was Moon Knight number 28. 69 out of 72 liked it with a 4.3 average rating on League of Comics Geeks, where I gave it 7.4. I would say that writer Jed McKay is doing an okay job. The artist Federico Sabrini, sorry I butchered your name, is where maybe I have mixed feelings on. Moon Knight and his allies race to intercept the Black Spectre before his apocalyptic schemes bear fruit, but the clock is ticking and the city hangs in the balance. I am enjoying Moon Knight, and I really also like him and Tigra's relationship. There's just something about it I like. This issue has good pacing, and the art is decent. It's just, there's certain things I like about it and certain things I don't. I think it's a stylistic choice that I'm not 100% sure I fit with yet, but it works for this series. This continues to be a good series, and I hope it continues to stay that way. So if you are a Moon Knight fan, I think this is a time to be reading Moon Knight. This series has been solid. I gave it a 7.4 because I quite well enjoyed it. Now, another one I keep trying to enjoy, but it keeps underwhelming to me, is the Sensational She-Hulk number 1. 94 out of 104 liked it with a 3.9 average rating on League of Comics Geeks compared to my score of a 7. And here's the thing. We have writer Rainbow Rao and artist Andreas Ginolti or whatever. Rainbow Rao, you know, that's a pen name, of course. But it seems like there's certain titles like this and some of the Dawn of DC ones I was talking about earlier, like the Teen Titans and things, that they're using young adult book writers to write, and it just doesn't work. They don't seem to understand the pacing, the format of what a comic book should be for us traditional comic book readers. So that's the thing. I don't really know how they, you know, what they expect us to do. Do they think this is going to pull in all these young adult book readers? Is that their goal? Because what they're doing, though, is they're sort of pushing away all the people actually normally, traditionally like and read these characters. The Sensational She-Hulk is back, yeah, because we had to reboot it to get better sales, I guess, temporarily. Jen Walters is dusting off her adjective and kicking off a new area. Ugh, what is that writing on this? Well, anyway, I get it. It's because you went to sensational. I was a little slow there. The best hero / lawyer in the Marvel Universe is going to remind you of why she's so sensational. Really? I didn't really see it in this issue. Going against her deadliest challenge yet. Plus, Marvel Studios She-Hulk series writer Jessica Gao makes hers Marvel in a short story with the Jade Giant, which wasn't really anything special, to be honest with you, and it is what it is. I thought the art was decent. The story was decent. But here's the thing. The dialogue and characterization, based on that alone, you can tell this was a young adult book writer. Also, there's been a real lack in this series, starting as well as the previous one, of action in the book. I'm sorry, this is She-Hulk. This is a comic book. There needs to be some action. This is not a young adult love novel. That's what they're turning this into. And there's elements of that I think are okay. We don't mind having that, but we want some action. We want some of our She-Hulk beatdowns too. I really think this series could be a lot better with a more traditional comic book writer that understands the character. I would like to know your thoughts on that. Do you think a more traditional comic book writer is the way to go? Or do you think this plan of getting these young adult authors is a good move and is working? All right. Remember, as I promised, my soapbox stance. That's next. Hey guys, Today's video is sponsored by my wallet. Yeah, I'm not trying to push any kind of wallet or pimp any wallet out. What I mean is it's sponsored by my personal wallet and the cash that comes out of it to pay for these things. If you want to help with this, you can hit like, subscribe, that notification bell. Those are great ways to get started. But if you find yourself in a position where you can help the channel more, we have a Patreon and a subscribe star down below that you can click on those links. And for as little as $1 a month, you'll have special videos and things to just you, music that you can get. Or maybe if you wanted to, a one-time donation just to help out, we have a Streamlabs link down below. Or we also have, if you go to the Patreon shop, you could buy a song for like $3. I wish I could put them a little lower, but that's the minimum they allow for that. So there's lots of options. Sometimes you might even see an Amazon link. If you want to buy anything through Amazon, click on my link first, then go through there. That'll give me a couple pennies possibly that way too as well. So there's lots of ways you can help out the channel, because without you, it would not be possible. So thank you, everybody. And let's get back to the video. Whew, here we go. Soapbox time. Nightwing, issue 107. League of Comics Geeks said 109 out of 130 liked it with a 3.6 average rating. I'm going to give you my rating in a moment. Written by, yes, Tom Taylor. Artist, Stephen Byrne. Once again, you're going to see some issues here because it's Tom Taylor. Jump on board an Eisner Award winning nominated series. First of all, to get an Eisner Award doesn't really mean anything anymore. It clearly shows that. Yo ho ho, and a pirate's life is not for Nightwing. Oh, sure. When Nightwing's investigation into who left the vault under his name leads him to discover a mysterious group behind the hold, his past comes back to haunt him in the form of the hold's leader. Here's the thing. The story is written, once again, like something from a young adult novel writer. It's just, it's not quite there. The art is okay at best. I'm not a fan, though, of this book going back to the Rick thing, that whole Rick story. It should have been left in the past. Not a lot of people cared for the Rick part. And we're doubling down on bringing that just, I think, to bring this female character, his ex, back in there. I think this was done to jar up people and get attention to the way this book was written. Because here's the thing. What's done to Nightwing and what he has to wear. They couldn't find a shirt that was the right fit, so he's got to wear one that leaves his chest open. But yet there was other shirts. But he's told by his ex-girlfriend, no, you're going to wear that. Now, I want to bring up a point here. I don't really care. But let's put the shoe on the other foot. How would social media and all the weirdos be acting right now if it was a guy and the only outfits the outfit the female found was something incredibly skimpy, and there was other clothing, and the guy says, no, you're going to wear that? How would the reaction have been? There's no way on earth we wouldn't be hearing all kinds of, oh, they're sexualizing women bullcrap and malarkey talk. But yet they're perfectly fine when we sexualize a male character. It's completely hypocritical that he has to wear this shirt and be treated like a piece of meat. But once again, the problem is, I think, it wouldn't have been an issue if they don't make such an issue the opposite way. I've been seeing it in social media too about video games and things like that. Oh, they're sexualizing characters. I got a newsflash. It's always been that way. You cannot tell me they don't sexualize men. Name one superhero, male superhero, that's out of shape. Yeah. All these guys are running around with extra big muscles, buttocks of steel, six packs, but nobody seems to care. But they're all in super tight outfits, sometimes shirtless and everything else. But if you have a woman that's revealing, you're a sexist pig. That's the key here. DC knows what they're doing. They're playing both sides. They know this will drum up some attention, but they're being completely hypocritical about it. This is common with Nightwing, so I give it a little bit more leeway there. But I give this book a 6.9. Once again, that part got me a little bit, but the main reasons why is it's written like a young adult book. And Tom Taylor is just not doing it for me on this book and a lot of his writing. I don't know what it is. I think it's maybe, if you notice, just keep track. It's always the white males that got to be put down and everything in his books, it seems like. Maybe it's just me. I would love to know your thoughts on that as well. Maybe I'm just an old man yelling at the clouds. All right, everybody, thank you for your time. Appreciate all of you. That was my soapbox rant. And until next time, keep it frugal.